Hello viewers, I am Jyoti from Department of Computer Science. Today we are going to see the first session. In this session we are going to see what is class and object. What is class and object? Two are the basic concepts in C++. If you know clearly about this, you can write programs easily. So what is a class? So class is the combination of data and function. To know about data and function, let me give one example. A pen. So pen can have height, then color, then model. So all these characteristics we call it as data. And the action performed by the pen, say for example writing, drawing, this we call it as a function. So any object can contain data and function. So data we call it as the properties or characteristics or appearance, and the function is the action performed by the object. Next to this we are know about structure in C language as a data type, where we can hold only data. So we are familiar with the structure concept in C language. The structure can hold only data, but in C++ we have the concept class which can hold both data and function. So this is first speciality. Second thing is data can be hidden. So we can hide our data inside our class, and whenever we need it we can access through the methods we can access the hidden data. So the second specialty is data can be hidden, that is we can hide our data. So these two features are the important features, that is a class can hold both data and function. Second thing is the data can be hidden, we can hide our data. So with this introduction, let us define how we can define a class. So to define a class we have to use a keyword class. Next to this is the name of the class. For our example, pen is the name of the class. So we can use the name pen here. So this is the first line of the class definition. Next to this is the open set bracket. This says that the class definition is beginning here. Then within this we are going to define two things. One is data, another one function. So for defining a data we can use the variable declaration, and for defining a function we can use the function declaration. So these two constitute a class definition. So after defining it we can use the close bracket. At the end we can put a semicolon. So this semicolon says that the class definition is completed. So within our class definition we have used variable declaration and function declaration. This variable declaration is the data member declaration, and this function declaration is the member function declaration. So a class can contain two things, one is the data member, another one member function. So this combination we call it as a class. So in the previous slide how we defined a data and method, and the two things we have specified. One is data member. So the variables that we used within our class definition we call it as data member, and the functions we used within the class we call it as member function. And in the previous slide we have used specifiers like private and publics. These keywords we call it as access specifier, and this access specifier says that whether the data member or member function can be accessible or not. If it is specified private, then we cannot access it directly, and if it is specified as public we can directly access it. So through our object we can directly access, but the private members cannot be accessed directly, but we can use these private members within our public members. So private members cannot be directly accessed through objects. Only public members can be directly accessed. So to access these private members, we can use these private members within our public members, and these public members can be directly accessed by the object. So this is given in this slide. So three access specifier we can use within our C++ program. One is public, another one private, then next to this is protected. This protected access specifier can be used only for inheritance. Only in inheritance we can use it. But this private and public can be used in all our C++ programs. This public, when it is used, we can directly access through object. If it is used as a private, we cannot access directly, but we can access these private members using the public members of a class, and we can directly access this public members. And when we have specified no access specifier within our program, the default one is private. So if we have not given any access specifier, then the C++ will consider it as a private member. So private access specifier is a default access specifier. So the three access specifiers are given detail. So private members cannot be directly accessed, and we can access this private members only through the members of the same class, and also through friend function. This friend function we will see in inheritance concept, and this private members can be accessed by all the other member of the class as well as the friend function. Then this protected members, it is used only in inheritance, where the derived class and the class members can access it, and also the friend function can access it. Only the derived class and the members of the same class and friend function can access it, and public members can access by all the objects as well as all the members. So it is visible to the program, entire program. So by default I have specified that the private access specifier is taken, and if you not mention the access specifier, then it is taken as a private. So only the member function can access the private data member. So these things are about the access specifier within our C++ program. Next to this is what is object. So object is the instance of the class. That is, object is the instance of the class. So what are the variables that we are going to define belonging to the class or called as objects. So in our pen example, if we defined P1 and P2 of pen class, then P1 is considered as one object and P2 is considered as another object. Similarly, if we defined a student class, and if we define S1 and S2 of student type, then S1 will be considered as one student, S2 will be considered as another student. So to define object is the instance of the class. So how we have to define object? So this is the syntax. That is class name followed by variable name, so semicolon at the end, semicolon. So this says that this variable is of type this class name. So this is our example. S is the object name of type student. So like this we can declare any number of objects. So a class can have any number of object. So this is the example as well as the syntax. So in the class definition itself we can define the object name. So this is a class definition. At the end we are specifying object 1 and object 2 are of belonging to this class. This is our example. In this example we have defined a student. S1 and S2 are the students or objects of this type student. So next to this, how we can access the member of the class. So we have defined already class, and then we have defined object, and in this slide how the members of the class can be accessed we are going to see. So to access the member of a class, this is our syntax. That is object name followed by a dot symbol. Next to this, the name of the member. If it is a member function, then we have to specify the argument list inside the parenthesis. At the end we have to use semicolon. So this is the syntax for that is accessing the members of a class. So object name dot member function then within the parenthesis argument list. So this is our example. So get data is a member function. So we are accessing this member function using the object s. So s is the object name and get data is the member of the class. So if the get data is a public member, then only we can access it through it. Suppose if it is a private member, we cannot access through the object. So only public members can be accessed through object. So next is defining a member function. So in the previous slide we have seen that member function. So this slide we are going to see how we can access the class members. So class is the combination of data and member function, and how we can access the members of the class. So here we have to follow the syntax object name dot member name. So this is the first one, object name followed by dot, after that the name of the member. So if the member is a data member, we can specify the name of the data member. If it is a function, then we have to use the member name, member function name, within the parenthesis the list of arguments required. So this example says that s is the object and get data is a member function of the class. And then if you want to access the member name should be declared as public. Only public members can be accessed through the object. So private members cannot access it. How the private member can be accessed? We can use the private members within our member function, and we can call the member function through object. So indirectly we can get the private members. So the private members can be accessed or used within a public members, and this public member can be accessed through the object name. So the private members cannot accessed directly through the object. Only public members can be accessed through this. So in this slide, how we can access the members of the class. Here we have used the syntax. Then next to this, how we can get we can explain with the example. Then the two things we have been used. One is the members can be accessed. Then how we can define the members. So within the class we have to define two kind of within the class we can define methods. The methods can be declared in two format. One is inside the class, another one outside the class. So inside the class, how we can define? So the example here given as item is a class, and within this two members are defined. One is num, it is defined as integer type, and cast, it is defined as a float type. And we have given one get data member, another one put data member. So this we have defined the put data member like this. That is it is defined as count cout number. So here we are displaying the members number and the cast. So in this class we have defined two members, two data. One is num, another one cast. So using the cout statement, we are displaying the num and cast. In the example, we have defined number and cast, and put data function. We are displaying the number and cast. Then how we can? So this is an example for defining a class defining a member within the inside the class. Next to this, how we can define the member function outside the class. So in order to write the function, we need to declare function inside the class, and definition is written outside the class. So we have to declare the function inside, and the definition for the function we have to write outside. So how we can? So this is the syntax. Return type, name of the class, then the scope resolution operator. So double colon symbol, that is the scope resolution operator. The next to this is the function name and argument list. Within this you have to define the member function. The member function label colon tells the compiler. So it tells the compiler that the function belongs to the class. So it is saying that this function, this operator says that this function is belonging to this type, this class. So this operator we call it as a scope resolution operator. This is the example. So here we are defining the get data is belonging to item class, and this get data, using get data we are going to assign the two values a and b, a to number and b to cost. The next is using the put data member, we are going to display the number and cost. In this slide we are going to see how we can define the member function. So members can be defined in two formats, that is, one is inside the class definition, another one outside the class definition. That is, to define a member function inside, so let us see the example. So here we are defining a class item. So the item can have a number and a cost. So these two are data members, and here we are using two member functions, one is get data, another one put data. So here we have given the definition inside the class, that is, put data is a member function. Within this no parameter is used, so we have given the type void. So void says that nothing is used. Then within this definition we have given the two output statements, cout statement. So first cout will display the number, second will display the cost. So two members of the class, number and cost, are displayed using the put data function. So how we can define the member function within a class is given here. So next to this, how we can define a member outside the class. So to define a member outside the class, this is our syntax. That is, here we have to give return type, name of the class. Then next to this we have to use a double colon, and next to this we have to use a function name, and within the parenthesis argument list, and after this the function body. So what action the function is going to do is given after to this. So here this double colon symbol tells the compiler that this function is belonging to this class, and this has this definition. So this double colon says to the compiler that the function name belongs to the class name, and this double colon symbol we call it as a scope resolution operator. So let us see the example for this outside definition. So this is the example of defining the get data. So here we are using the return type of the get data method as void, and next to this is the name of the class. After this double colon says that this get data member is belonging to item class, and here two parameters are used, a int a float b, and now assigning the first value a to number and second value b to the cost. Then next to this is we are defining the put data member. This put data member function displays the first member number and displays the second number. So how we can define the member function outside this? So here we have to use the return type, then name of the class, double colon, and name of the member within the argument list we have to use. So this defines the member function outside the class. With this we conclude the session. Here we have seen what is class. So class is the method of binding the data and functions together, and data can be hidden, and this is the syntax for declaring a class. And here the class can have two members, one is data member, another one member function. Here we can use three types of access specifier, and the purpose of private is for protecting the data, and protected member is only used for inheritance purpose. For using the concept, created concept to the derived classes. In public member, using this only we can access the data directly. Using private, we cannot directly access the member. And next to this we have seen object. So object is the instance of the class. Using the class we can create any number of objects. So this is the syntax for creating object. This is example for creating object, and the syntax as well as example we are familiar. And after that we have defined how we can access the members of the class using the dot symbol. So we can access the members. This is our syntax and this is our example. Only public members can access through the object, private members cannot be accessed. Then we have specified how we can define the member function. In two ways we can define. One is inside the class, another one outside the class. And this is the example of defining a function within our class. And next to this, how we can define the function outside the class. So for this we have to use the scope resolution operator. The scope resolution operator tells that the function name is belonging to the class name. And this is our example of defining the function outside the class definition. So with this we conclude our first session. In the second session we will see about constructors. Thank you.